Hello everyone, Dhanush here. Cyber terrorists are constantly looking for victims and refining new tools to break down computer security systems to launch their attacks. You or your organization could be their next target. In this video, we'll explain the several types of cyber attacks you need to look out for. First, we have the zero-day exploits. A zero-day exploit is a cyber attack that targets a software, firmware, or hardware vulnerabilities that is unknown to the vendor and has not been patched. The term zero day refers to the fact that the vendor has 0 days to fix the issue. Attackers exploit software vulnerabilities before the developer patches them. Regular software updates and proactive threat monitoring can help mitigate risks. Next, we have the ransomware attacks. Ransomware is a type of malware that prevents users from accessing the files, systems, or networks by locking them or encrypting their data. The attacker then demands a ransom payment to regain access. Backing up data and using robust anti-malware software can reduce the impact. Next, we have the watering hole attack. A watering hole attack is a security exploit in which an attacker seeks to compromise a specific group of end users by infecting websites that members of the group are known to visit. The goal is to infect users' computer and gain access to the network at the target's workplace. The term watering hole attack comes from hunting. Rather than tracking its prey over a long distance, the hunter instead determines where the prey is likely to go, most commonly to a body of water, the watering hole, and the hunter waits there. When the prey comes of its own will, often with its guard down, the hunter attacks. Always verify the authenticity of sites you access and use web security tools to avoid watering hole attacks. Next, we have the credential stuffing attack. Credential stuffing is a cyber attack where attackers use stolen credentials to gain unauthorized access to accounts. Attackers often use automated bots to test stolen credentials against multiple websites at once. Use unique passwords for each account and enable multi-factor authentication to prevent yourself from credential stuffing attacks. Next, we have the business email compromise, BEC. This is a type of cybercrime where the scammer uses email to trick someone into sending money or confidential company info. This is a cyber attack that tricks employees into sending money or sensitive data by criminals. BEC is a type of phishing or social engineering attack that targets senior executives and financial department staff. Always make sure to train your employees to verify unusual requests and use email authentication tools. Next, we have the man-in-the-middle attack, MITM. The MITM attack is a cyber attack where attackers intercept and modify communication between two parties. The attacker positions themselves between the two parties, either impersonating one of them. The attacker makes it appear as if the communication is normal, tricking the parties into believing it's secure. Man-in-the-middle attacks carry out these type of attacks through hijacking, active eavesdropping, IP spoofing, and replay. Common solutions include encryption, tamper detection, and authentication of digital certificates to prevent yourself from man-in-the-middle attacks. Next, we have the phishing attack. Phishing is a general attempt to scam a large number of people, while spear phishing is more targeted attack on a specific individual or group. Never provide your personal information in response to an unsolicited request, whether it's over a phone or over an internet. Emails and internet pages created by phishers may look exactly like the real thing. They may even have fake icon that ordinarily is used to denote a secure site. In phishing attacks, cyber attackers send fraudulent emails with clickable links aiming to steal personal information or install malware on your computer. Next, we have the drive-by attack. A drive-by attack, also known as drive-by download attack, refers to a cyber attack in which a malicious script causes a program to download and install itself on a user device without explicit permission from the user. It can happen on any user device running on any operating system. Often, these attacks occur when the user navigates to and browses a compromised web page. They inject malicious script into HTTP and PHP code of web pages, compromising the network or visitors to the site. Next, we have the botnet attacks. As a term, botnet is a combination of two words, robot and network. Basically, a botnet is a group or network of computers or other devices that are interconnected using internet. Using malware, a hacker infects these devices and turns them into an army of minions who then mindlessly execute their orders. These attacks are difficult to spot because the systems used are scattered worldwide. Next, we have the social engineering attacks. Social engineering attacks manipulate people into sharing information that they shouldn't share, downloading software that they shouldn't download, visiting websites they shouldn't visit, sending money to criminals, or making other mistakes that compromise their personal or organizational safety. Cyber terrorists use social engineering to access personal data, hijack accounts, impersonate identities, or perform unauthorized payments. Next, we have the SQL injection attacks. SQL injection is a code injection technique that might destroy your database. SQL injection is one of the most common web hacking techniques. This occurs when a cyber terrorist injects the malicious code into an SQL server, tricking it into revealing sensitive information. It often happens when malicious scripts are submitted into vulnerable websites, search boxes, and many other fields. Next, we have the malware attacks. A malware attack is a cyber attack where malicious software, also known as malware, performs unauthorized actions on a victim system. Malware attacks are any type of malicious software designed to cause harm or damage to a computer, server, client, or computer network and or infrastructure without end-user knowledge. The umbrella term includes different cyber attacks using malicious software to compromise security. Preventive steps include using antivirus software, avoiding unknown mails, not clicking malicious pop-ups, and keeping your firewall updated. Next, we have the cross-site scripting attack, XSS attack. This attack involves injecting malicious JavaScript codes into a target's web browser via a third-party website. Cross-site scripting is an exploit where an attacker attaches a code onto a legitimate website that will execute when the victim loads the website. There are different types of XSS. Reflected XSS, where the malicious script comes from the current HTTP request. Stored XSS, where the malicious script comes from the website's database. DOM-based XSS, where the vulnerability exists in client-side code rather than the server-side code. XSS attacks can capture screenshots, collect network information, and gain remote control over a victim's network. Next, we have the password attack. A password attack refers to any of the various methods used to maliciously authenticate into password-protected accounts. A password attack can exploit password authentication mechanism through brute force, dictionary attacks, or key logging. Brute force involves guessing passwords with advanced programs, while dictionary attacks use list of common passwords, where keylogger attacks captures keystrokes to steal login credentials. To safeguard yourself from password attack, it's necessary to enable multi-factor authentication and change your password frequently. Next, we have the DOS attack, denial of service attack, which is a malicious attempt to disrupt or shut down a server, service, or network by overwhelming it with legitimate requests. This can cause the target to become slow, unresponsive, or inaccessible to legitimate users. DOS attacks make the resource unavailable to users. Analytical tools can help detect strange traffic growth and prevent these attacks by updating network security systems. Next attack we have is session hijacking. In computer science, session hijacking, sometimes also known as cookie hijacking, is an exploitation of a valid computer session, sometimes also called as the session key, to gain unauthorized access to information or services in a computer system. In particular, it is used to refer to the theft of a magic cookie used to authenticate a user to a remote server. Attackers intercept and take control of users' active session on a network or website. Using HTTPS, VPNs, and strong encryption protocols, this can be prevented. Next, we have the RAT attack, remote access Trojan attack. Rats can infect computers like any other type of malware. They might be attached to an email, be hosted on a malicious website, or exploit a vulnerability in an unpatched machine. A rat is designed to allow an attacker to remotely control his computer, similar to how remote desktop protocol and team viewer can be used to remotely access the system administration. Malware that provides attackers with remote control of the infected device are one of the common possibilities of rat. Avoid downloading files or software from untested sources and use reliable antivirus software to protect yourself from remote access trojans. Next, we have the DNS spoofing, domain name system spoofing. Domain name server spoofing or DNS cache poisoning is an attack involving manipulating DNS records to redirect users towards a fraudulent, malicious website that may resemble the user's intended destination. Attackers manipulate DNS to redirect users to fraudulent websites. To avoid this, use DNS filtering to ensure your DNS provider has robust security protocols. Next, we have the rogue software. Rogue software is also known as rogueware or rogue security software is a type of malicious software that tricks users into believing their computer is infected with a virus or malware. The goal of rogue software is to convince users to purchase and install harmful software that can compromise the system's security. Fake software that tricks users into thinking their system is infected, prompting them to buy useless or harmful tools. Always educate users to verify software legitimacy and avoid improper software downloads. Next, we have in the list is exploit kits. Exploit kit or exploit pack is a type of toolkit cybercriminals use to attack vulnerabilities in systems so they can distribute malware or perform other malicious activities. Exploit kits are packaged with exploits that can target commonly installed software such as Adobe Flash, Java, etc. A typical exploit kit usually provides a management console, a bunch of vulnerabilities targeted to different applications, and several add-on functions that make it easier for a cybercriminal to launch an attack. Keeping software and browsers up to date reduces the risk of such attacks. Next attack is the Typosquatting attack. Typosquatting is a type of social engineering attack which targets internet users who incorrectly type a URL into the web browser rather than using a search engine. Typically, it involves tricking users into visiting malicious websites with URLs that are common misspellings of legitimate websites. Users may be tricked into entering sensitive details into these fake sites. For organizations victimized by these attackers, these sites can do a significant reputational damage. Always verify URLs before entering sensitive information. Can help you to prevent from these type of typosquatting attacks. Next, we have the IoT attacks. Internet of Things attacks are cyber attacks that can compromise the security of devices connected to the internet. IoT devices such as smartphone appliances are targeted due to weak security, using strong passwords and firmware updates to secure IoT devices. Next, we have the fake wireless access point. Attackers set up fake Wi-Fi hotspot to intercept user data. Avoid connecting to public Wi-Fi networks or use VPNs for secure browsing. With the increase of Wi-Fi networks, attacks on these networks are constantly increasing. Next, we have the firmware attacks. Firmware attacks are a type of cyber attack that targets the firmware of a system. The firmware is like the brain of a computer and it controls how all the hardware components work together. Exploiting vulnerabilities in devices' firmware to gain control or install malware. Regularly update devices' firmware and use trusted vendors. Next, we have the supply chain attack. A supply chain attack is a cyber attack that uses an organization's suppliers to gain unauthorized access to its system or data. These attacks are also known as value chain or third-party software attacks. Attackers infiltrate software or hardware supply chains to introduce malware or backdoors. Always ensure the systems are secure. Next, we have on the list is distributed denial of service attack. This is a cybercrime that involves flooding a server with malicious traffic to make it inaccessible or degrade its performance. Here, the attacker floods the server with internet traffic to prevent users from accessing connected online services and sites. These attacks can involve session hijacking, TCP sync floods, teardrop attacks, Smurf attacks, and botnets. Next, we have on the list is inside attack and data breaches. Data breaches often occur through employees or ex-employees. An insider attack is when an employee or other insider uses their authorized access to a business to harm it. A malicious insider may purposefully harm the company by destroying or stealing data. Some employees may even take data when they leave the company without realizing the consequences to themselves or to the business. Monitoring privileged access networks and disabling access for former employees are essential ways to prevent this. Next is the cryptojacking attack. Cryptojacking is a type of cybercrime that involves the unauthorized use of people's devices by cybercriminals to mine for cryptocurrency. Like many forms of cybercrime, the motive is profit, but unlike other threats, it's designed to stay completely hidden from the victim. Cryptojacking is a threat that embeds itself with a computer or mobile devices and then uses its resources to mine cryptocurrency. Cryptojacking targets users' bandwidth and processing power to mine cryptocurrency. Attackers break into legitimate sites and compromise their visitors' network security systems. Next, we have the crypto mining malware attack. Crypto mining malware is designed to consume significant processing power as it tries potential candidates for a block header. As a result, an infected computer may result one of the following two signs: increased resource consumption, slowness of computers and servers. Crypto mining attacks target crypto miners and exchanges, hijacking their processing power. The most severe cases involve a complete takeover of the system's resources. Next, we have the eavesdropping attack. An eavesdropping attack is a cyber threat that occurs when someone intercepts and listens to a private communications without permission. Eavesdropping attack can take place over a variety of technologies including email, telephone lines, and online messaging platforms. Eavesdropping occurs when attacker intercepts network traffic, allowing them to access passwords and personal information. Protection involves monitoring connected devices and installed software on the network.
Let the hacking begin.
Cyberattacks are constantly improving their methods. To protect yourself, it's important to understand these threats. By knowing the risks, business can take the right steps to stop or reduce them. Did you know all the attacks mentioned here? Did you find anything new? Any thoughts on cyber attacks? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, as it would really mean a lot. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.